study,
and play
come together on a Windows 11 PC. And for a limited time, college students get
the best of both worlds.
Get the Unreal College Deal. Everything you need to study and play with select Windows 11 PCs. Eligible students get a year of Microsoft 365 Premium and a year of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with a custom color Xbox wireless controller. Learn more at windows.com/student offer. While supplies last. Ends June 30th. Terms at aka.ms/collegepc.
This episode is brought to you by Prime. What if you had one more chance with the one that got away?
Sam, you came home.
Based on the best-selling novel from Carly Fortune. Every Year After follows childhood friends Sam and Percy as they reunite in the dreamy, nostalgic lakeside town of Barry's Bay.
Love can be hard to find. So if you're lucky enough to find that person, never let go.
A second chance at first love. Every Year After, now streaming only on Prime.
Hi, it's Bo Horvat from the Vancouver Canucks.
Hey guys, it's Brittany Palmer, the UFC Octagon Girl.
Hey, this is Trevor Hurst of Econoline Crush.
Hi, it's Bob Lenarduzzi of the Vancouver Whitecaps.
Hi, this is Theodis Crane from AMC's The Walking Dead and WGN's Underground.
Hi, this is George Thorogood.
Hi, I'm Jackie Childs, social influencer.
Hi, I'm William B. Davis, the cigarette-smoking man from the X-Files.
Hey, this is Vinnie Paul from Hell Yeah! And you're listening to the Toddcast right there in Vancouver.
The Toddcast podcast
is powered by Citywide Mortgage Services, providing complete financing and mortgage services for residential and small commercial businesses. Visit them at citywidemortgage.ca.
Now, here's your host, Todd Hancock.
Have you ever had something happen to you that you just couldn't explain? Like maybe it was just a strange sound in the middle of the night or a feeling that you weren't alone or whatever it was. Well, this week, we're taking you into the world of the paranormal, where eyewitness accounts, unexplained phenomena, and lifelong mysteries challenge what we think we know. Whether you're a diehard believer or someone who needs a little convincing, the unknown just has a way of finding us all. And the Paranormal Files host, Colin Browen, joins us this Toddcast.
So I've always been interested in the paranormal, and my parents always took me on ghost tours when I was a kid. So everywhere we would travel, we'd do a ghost tour, and, you know, my mom loved Halloween, so that was my upbringing. And when I was in high school, my family built a house, and the very first day that we moved into the house, we started experiencing paranormal activity. And my sister, actually, my mom and dad and I all left to go get boxes from our old house, and we left my sister there. And by the time we came back, she was trying to climb her way out of her window because she had heard men talking in the kitchen, and no one was there. So at first, you kind of write that off, and you're like, "All right, that's kind of strange." But she was young, I was young, and very soon after, things started to happen in the house that were increasingly frightening and dark.
Yeah, he goes, my parents always took me on those ghost tours when I was a kid. As they say, start them young, right? Joining Colin, making her second appearance on the Toddcast, Heidi Cannon is a world bikini champion, fitness model, event host, golfing influencer, and has some plans for her 5-year goals.
My 5-year plan now is I'm huge in the golf world, like massive.
Yeah, like
I've become
so
obsessed.
much great video content.
Thank you.
online.
Yeah. I'm sponsored by companies now. And I'm not even like, I'm okay, but I'm not like saying the best. So yeah, golf is like, I left my WBFF, my federation that I was with, that I won the world title with.
Yeah.
I left it because in 2023, so a year after, things changed so much with that organization, and it just didn't align with me anymore. And so now my new plan and what I'm into now is, so I went back to like old school bodybuilding. So like IFBB. So I have a show in a month, and last year I competed with them as well. And I placed first in nationals, and I lost by like, a few spots for my pro card. It's way harder of federation, but that's like kind of my new goal, is to dominate that industry, IFBB, and then take on the golf with it, because golf and fitness now is so combined. And really, like, you can do golf until you're like 100 years old, and I'm not getting any younger. So I need to get in sports so that I can go forever on. And
Love that. She says, that's kind of my new goal, is to dominate that industry, IFBB. You'll hear from this week's musical guest in just a second. Two Brooklyn signals disguised as a band. Grammy winners. They've turned oddities into hooks for decades. Their frontman is a guest this week. As we always do, it's so great to have you there. My name's Todd Hancock, and it's thanks to our sponsors that we're able to keep knocking out these podcasts for you, like our title sponsor, Citywide Mortgage Services. I know one of the owners, Dara. He did my mortgage renewal last year. Solid advice, a great rate, and now is the time for you to strike. The Bank of Canada has dropped the key interest rate, of course, right? Buying, renewing, refinancing. This is your window. Citywide has been doing mortgages for decades. They work for you. They don't work for the big banks. That's super important. They have access to over 30 lenders. Even if you've been turned down before, they can usually find a way to work, which of course is huge. So check out Dara and his team through citywidemortgage.ca. Citywidemortgage.ca. It's who I trust. It's who I use for my mortgage renewals. Okay, so coming up in just a few minutes, in Listen to This, Big Wreck drummer Sekou Lumumba talks about growing up in Trinidad till he was 12 years old. Then he moved to Canada. Bit of a culture shock there. That is powered by Tedco RV Supplies in Langley. RV service, repairs, yes, they are ICBC accredited, and they're coming up on 11-year sponsor. Absolutely no breaks. Crazy support. Can't say enough good things about Tamara and the crew there. You can find them kicking around online from time to time. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, through what else? At Tedco RV Supplies. First, our first guest of three, this week's musical guest, They Might Be Giants singer-guitarist John Flansburgh. Of course, this is powered by Parallel 49 Brewing. You want to start talking about craft beer powerhouses, not just here in Vancouver, but across British Columbia. They're coming up on 15 years as a brewery here in our fine city, and you got to love the backstory. It's just a few buddies, essentially, that just wanted to get into the beer game for the love of it all, right? Their East Van Brewery produces dozens of quality beers. Their tasting room, their street kitchen has over 40 taps. It's always a fun hang. It's real close to the studio. Check them out online through parallel49brewing.com. Of course, they're on Twitter and Instagram and all the rest of that stuff too. So simply put, They Might Be Giants is one of alt-rock's most creative and influential bands. I think we can all agree on that. They formed in Brooklyn, New York back in 1982, John Flansburgh and his buddy John Linnell. And from the get-go, they've built a loyal following through their sharp wit, their inventive songwriting, their genre-defying blend of rock, there's pop, there's folk, there's experimental music. They broke into the mainstream with their acclaimed album called Flood. And it's not often that you find lyrics that cover so much ground, right? There's humor, there's science, there's history, the unexpected observations. They're really quite unique and certainly one of the most distinctive bands of the era. They Might Be Giants have won 2 Grammy Awards, one for their 2002 Boss of Me, You're Not the Boss of Me Now, the instantly recognizable theme song from Malcolm in the Middle. And the second one was for their children's music, more than 4 decades into their career. And they certainly, they continue to tour, they record, they're inspiring audience still. So what was the music like in John's house as a kid growing up?
My parents were like, my dad, his firm was in Cambridge, Massachusetts, which was like the epicenter of 60s folky. Like Joan Baez actually dated a guy in my father's office for a while. So she was around. Joan Baez was a local. She played at Club 47, I think is what it was called. Club 47, which is right down the street from my dad's office. Mm. And so there are all these folkies who are not famous now, but were famous then, like Eric von Schmidt, Pete Seeger was definitely around. It was like the folk scene in Cambridge, Mass in the 60s was huge. He goes, the epicenter of 60s folky, like Joan Baez actually dated a guy in my father's office for a while. Honestly, really cool getting to chat John up and getting into all sorts of things as well. Longevity in music. It's tough, right? Staying relevant while remaining true to your creative vision. It's even harder for them to do. But They Might Be Giants have managed to do both, continuing to release new music, connecting with audiences while never really losing the spirit that made them stand out in the first place. We talked to John for just over 40 minutes. You can
can hear it right now through our iTunes, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. If you'd rather see the chat, of course, we post all of our interviews at our YouTube channel. Everything is, of course, at Toddcast Podcast. We talked about his love of the band Geese, binge watching Friends and Neighbors and DTF St. Louis, that is Down to Fuck. David Harbour and Lily Allen came up, and so did what his parents thought of the idea of him becoming a pro musician.
Well, I mean, being in my teen years were not great. And, I moved into an apartment in Boston when I was like 17. So I had a job at a record store, and I was just sort of kicking around. And then I ended up going to a couple of different colleges, and that was all very unsuccessful. And I was like out of Boston for a few years. I really started doing music in the middle of my sort of college odyssey, and I wasn't really talking to my parents that much. But they, I think they thought it was a terrible idea. I mean, I might as well have just said like,
they thought it was bad. Like, yeah, don't do that.
It was like it was already bad. So I might as well have just said like, I've decided. I think the best thing for me would be to become a heroin addict. It was not a good. That was not great. But years later, they were very proud. I mean, like once we started making records, it all made a lot more sense. I think parents are nervous about stuff like that. It just seems like a terrible idea. It probably, it is a terrible idea. There's no.
Well, of course, all parents are like, "What are you going to do with your life? You're not going to." Of course I am. Yes, I am. I will.
Yeah, I mean, my parents were definitely, what are you going to do? I mean, very much so.
That rings true to me as well. He goes, my teen years were pretty not great. I moved into an apartment when I was 17. I was also out of the house at 17. Not that they weren't not great. I'm just saying it kind of rings true. Some bands follow trends, but They Might Be Giants have spent their entire career creating their own lane. From alt-rock hits, kids albums, award-winning projects, a fiercely loyal fan base, they've proven that originality never really truly goes out of style. I got John talking about writing an off-Broadway musical with his wife, Brooklyn's 80s music scene, and of course, their Grammy wins.
It was actually the first time a TV theme had ever gotten a Grammy, because people complain about there being too many Grammy categories, but the truth is they had bundled TV and movie themes into one award, which meant the song like from Titanic is up against the song from Cheers or whatever.
Yeah.
And, the movies always won. And that was the first year that, we were up against like a lot of big, much bigger people, but for some reason it just clicked. And that's that song. And now it's back on the air again, evidently. They've not really kept us in the loop, but I hear word that they're back in production.
That's so cool. We were up against like a lot of big, much bigger people. For some reason, it just clicked. So cool for John and They Might Be Giants. Big Grammy wins, and by the sounds of it, unexpected. John talked about his early use of drum machines, what it was like in the early days living and creating in New York. We talked about family. He even shared a near-death car story.
Oh, well, I mean, I was in a car accident like 4 years ago, probably, where I was in an Uber coming home from our very first show after the COVID had kind of finally let up. I guess it was 1992. Was it 92? 93 maybe? And I was 5 minutes from my apartment in New York, and my Uber got T-boned by a guy who was probably driving 70 miles an hour down Park Avenue, way uptown. And he actually flipped our car sideways and pushed it like half a block. And it was crazy. Like, I'm in this car that's sideways, and the driver is like sort of having like a little bit of a panic attack. Like his whole world is caving in. Like, I'm sure this car is like the only thing he owns. And so he's like, and as we're there, like, you know, we're just all like sideways, which is really chaotic. And the door that I was sitting by is like now like halfway into the car, you know, like it's just like the whole car is like this potato chip.
And did it like super slow down time wise? Because everybody that has those styles of accidents are always like, oh, dude, it was like super slow motion.
It felt like that. Like, I mean, I remember being pushed all the way across the car, which was very weird. Like, you know, pushed from, I was on the passenger side and I actually hit the other side of the car really hard.
Wow.
And you know, but you immediately have a ton of adrenaline, so you don't really realize what's wrong with you. But we're sideways, and then I'm like thinking like, well, this is really strange. Like, how are we going to get out of here? Like that part of the car is all smushed. So like, what's going to happen? Like, what's going to happen now? And then all of a sudden, gas fumes started filling the car, and I was just like, and then the driver just like really started to freak out. And I'm like, we're going to be okay. We're going to be, even I'm like lying. Like, I have no idea if we're going to be okay, but I just naturally wanted to help calm the guy down. And,
wow.
And then I, you know, the EMS people were like, you know, we got to check you out. You're going to have to go to the hospital. And I'm like, we have a show at the 9:30 Club the next night booked. It's totally sold out. We're doing a bunch of shows. Oh, they're all sold out. I'm like, look, no, you know, I got to do these. I got to be in DC in like 5 hours or something. And they're like, you know, you're not going anywhere. and then like they put me in the trauma ward, and
wow,
it was wild. I wish I had written down all the stuff that had happened, because so many crazy things happened. But when you go into like one of these modern trauma ward things, there's a team of like a dozen interns. Like I was wearing clothes and I'm on a gurney, and then 2 seconds later I am buck naked, like completely, like not a stitch. I got my wedding ring and that's it. You know,
like, sir, could you please put your pants back on?
Yeah. They have razor blades and they just slice your clothes off you. Like surgically, they just like zook, and like everything's just disappears. And because they're every second counts, you know, like some people come. I mean, I broke a bunch of ribs. I broke a lot of ribs.
Oh shit, really? Wow.
Yeah. No, I was in very bad shape. And, you know, I mean, one thing I did determine is they don't tell you might die, which like is probably pretty smart, because you know they really don't know. Like the thing that I had, you know, was pretty serious. I was in the hospital for just over a week, and in the years ago, I was talking to my general practitioner. They were saying he was saying you'd probably be in the hospital for a month, like with the stuff that you've got. Because I couldn't sit up. I couldn't, you know, you're just totally wiped out. Like your guts are just like jelly. So it was a big, long recuperation from that. But and a lot of people, if you get like, what do they call it? Like you might get like pneumonia. If you get a cold or something, like you're really on the ropes, because if you start coughing, you pierce your lung, and that's a very easy way that people die from those kind of injuries. So I was very lucky that I didn't. But man, oh man, in that trauma center, the people around me, everybody was in such a mess. It was like a very scary, very weird. It's a very weird experience. It never stops.
You know, and John, honestly, you know, I probably asked, I don't know, I would say conservatively 500 people that question. 490 have a story.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Like almost everybody has almost died.
That's interesting. Well, I never felt like I had almost died up until then. So
right,
I would have been.
Now you got the story to share. You're still with us.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mean to be morbid. I'm trying to keep it light.
Parallel 49 Brewing is proudly the official beer of the Toddcast podcast, where craft meets character.
You want it all, but you don't know how much more failure you can face. And you know what you saw, but you're never gonna get it if you keep playing it safe. I never answer your calls. Every time I do, you just ask for more. It's just out of reach. Come closer to me, and I'll show you. If you want me, quit calling. I don't feel the same as you. If you need me, quit falling. I don't feel the same as you. If you want me, quit calling. I don't feel the same as you. If you need me, quit falling. You want it all, but you don't know if you got what it takes. And you know what you saw, but you're never gonna get it, never gonna get it, never gonna get it. It's just out of reach. If you want me, quit calling. I don't feel the same as you. If you need me, quit falling. I don't feel the same as you. If you want me, quit calling. I don't feel the same as you. If you need me, quit falling. I don't feel the same as you. I don't feel the same as you. I don't feel the same as you. I don't feel the same. Why don't you just go and walk away? I think I need to spend some time alone. Why don't you just go and fuck yourself? I think it's time you go. If you want me, quit calling. If you want me, quit calling. I don't feel the same as you. If you need me, quit falling. I don't feel the same as you. If you want me, quit calling. I don't feel the same as you. If you need me, quit falling. I don't feel the same as you. I don't feel the same as you. I don't feel the same as you. I don't feel the same.
And now, listen to this on the Toddcast podcast.
Did you know Big Wreck started under a different name? Back in 1992, they were called Still Waters. Well, singer Ian Thornley called one of their jam sessions a Big Wreck, and it kind of stuck. Fast forward through the timeline, they break up, take a hiatus back in 2002, back together in the early 2010s, release Albatross in 2012, Ghosts in 14, Gray Street in 17, But for the Sun in 19, Seven in 23, and the rest of the story in 25. A few EPs over COVID as well, Pages in 23. And that brings us up to present day. Big Wreck, one of Canada's best rock bands, period. Their drummer, Sekou Lumumba, jumped a Zoom with us shortly before releasing the rest of the story. And it was cool. It wasn't just about drumming. It was the journey behind it. Sekou's been the drummer of the band since COVID, and of course he played in Thornley as well. He talks about early musical influences, the passing of Ozzy Osbourne and Kiss guitarist Ace Frehley, binge-watching Fargo, horror as a genre, Frankenstein, Dune, SNL, the World Series, MMA, black musicians, growing up in Trinidad till he was 12 years old, and then moving to Canada. Listen to this.
Yeah, I'm from Trinidad. I'm from the Caribbean. I moved to Canada when I was 11 or 12. So our household was very strictly Caribbean music. It was soca, calypso, reggae. That's it. Like it just in the Caribbean, I'm 53, so like in the Caribbean in the 70s, like it's not like it was a eclectic mix. It just was not like that. So coming to Canada was a huge culture shock. Being exposed to all the different types of music and also trying to assimilate as an immigrant to a completely different culture. I had never seen snow before. I landed in a snowstorm.
And where'd you move to as a kid?
Montreal.
Montreal.
In the middle of a snowstorm. And like my brother and I we were catatonic. We couldn't speak. We just looked out the window, just like you know what I mean? So it was a huge culture shock. And obviously with music, that was the case too, being exposed to all different kinds of things on the radio and things like that. And then when I started playing drums around age 16, I had some friends who were into the heavier stuff, right? Like SNFU and Sex Pistols and Metallica. Like so I kind of jumped on board with Justice for All album with Metallica, and then I got super into early Soundgarden, and then the first two Chili Peppers albums, and then just kind of went off from there, right? So just being exposed to that stuff and then playing my instrument, those two things helped those two things were like, well, good music is good music. It doesn't matter where it's from, right? It's just a matter of being able to understand it and translate it to the instrument, and so yeah.
Listen to This on the Toddcast podcast is brought to you by Tedco RV Supplies in Langley, an ICBC-approved repair shop. Visit them on Facebook and Twitter at Tedco RV Supplies. And now, highlighting our next Blue Light Sessions, powered in part by Canadian Club Whiskey. Meet your new cold one. We serve Canadian Club and Ginger ready-to-drink cocktails at all of our live shows. Visit CanadianClub.com today.
Sunglasses and smashed up bottles of wine. 26 years I've been walking this earth. Thought by now I'd probably wind up in jail or the dirt. I've been working 7 days just to pay them bills, but the union's been on strike and I've been crushing them pills. I got cigarettes and sunglasses and smashed up bottles of wine. Girl, how you doing tonight? Could be wrong, but I feel like Mr. Right. Why don't you come a little closer? Don't you wait in line. You'll be coming home with me around closing time. I got cigarettes and sunglasses and smashed up bottles of wine. Cigarettes and love. Cigarettes and love. Cigarettes and love. Well, I got cigarettes and sunglasses and smashed up bottles of wine.
tear up Blue Light Studio with those guys. They're called Canyon Riders, and a fun little song, Cigarettes and Sunglasses. They're headlining our next live show in 10 days from now, so it's June 26th, the last Friday of the month. Jack Matthew is opening up the night. Going to play you something from her in just a little bit. Tickets are only $22 through eventbrite.ca. Brite, eventbrite.ca. We open the doors for our shows at 7 o'clock. Things start rolling around 8:15-ish. I hope you can make it out to this one. Country nights, of course, are always a good time. They're a little bit country, a little bit of rock. Hey, you got rock in my country? No, you got country in my rock. Can't wait to see what both artists have up their sleeves for our next show. I played you Chase the Bear. That was an older track for those guys called Quit Colin. So if you're in Vancouver on June 27, you should try to make their show at the Waldorf. Again, that's in East Vancouver. That's a great show. I'll try to be there. It truly depends on how bent out of shape I get at this blue light session we have. Of course, I would be back-to-backers, and this old dog ain't getting any younger. Okay, so coming up shortly in Stop Me, if you've heard this before, actress Kayla Zander talks about her career highlight, which actually may surprise you. That is powered by the Home Dwell Group. One of their partners, Kyle, I've known literally since elementary school. I remember that he loved drafting in high school, and he went into that world at the same time that I went into radio DJing. So he was like designing homes and buildings in Vancouver long before he even started buying and selling homes. So he knows whether the house is priced too high, what needs renovating, that sort of thing, right? So if you're buying a house or you're selling your home, talk to Kyle through homedwell.ca, homedwell.ca. First, the second of three Toddcast guests this week, our sporting guest making her second appearance on the Toddcast, Heidi Cannon, former WBFF World Bikini Champion, fitness model, event host, golfing influencer. You probably best know Heidi from the fitness world. Slowly but surely, though, the golf community as well, as of late anyway. She's hosted events for years. Enthusiasm and hard work, the center of everything that she does, health, fitness, and golf. She has more than a decade of experience, has established herself as a sought-after brand ambassador, speaker, media personality, one of Canada's most recognizable figures in the fitness world, certainly a 6-time cover model. Whether hosting live events, creating engaging content, representing brands, Heidi's mission is to empower people to embrace their authentic selves and pursue your goals. That's key. You'll recognize there's a theme as we go through the conversation. So check out what she says is now her career highlight, because it's changed since the last time she was a guest.
Well, yeah, going from world title to now I'm starting from the bottom. That is a big, remember I said about the Eagles?
Yeah.
It's been a big, whoa, when you're on top of the game, something else, and then you go to something else that you're not the top of, it's weird.
Like, what is why is there such a difference? And what is it about IFBB?
I don't know if it would be I don't know even how to describe from a music way. It's a totally different federation, and what they look for is so different. So my old federation was very pageanty, pageant fitness, still glam fitness, where this is strictly bodybuilding. This is about your physique, how you look, present yourself, right? Very more Arnold, hardcore, old school, right? Yeah. And then you have your levels of Olympia. So yeah, that's changed. And me in the golf world, I'm huge into, that's all I do now is my job is for golf. I literally make content, and then I'm in charge of marketing and finding influencers and expanding our brand of Killer Golf. So I was on a podcast, two podcasts last week for golf and the PGA shows. And yeah, so branching out into the golf world and sort of taking my fitness background and kind of amalgamating it in both has been a huge shift. And yeah, it's very different, but it's a good, I still get to be spokesperson for it. So that's cool. And I still get to do on camera stuff. And I know there's a lot of
you're too good to not do it. Come on, let's be honest.
No,
you're such a natural.
I love, it's like you, I love it. Right. So, but I know I have some projects. Well, one I wish I could say, but I can't say. I'll tell you after. Yeah. And then, we have good fuel in the fire.
Yes, she says, that's all I do now. My job is for golf. Love that. As I always tell you, right? Get a job that doesn't feel like a job, doesn't feel like work. The full talk with Heidi is close to half hour long. You can see it, you can hear it. Of course, everything at Toddcast Podcast everywhere online. Success can look different depending on who you ask. For Heidi, it's meant years of working in fitness, modeling, hosting, building authentic connections. We talked about how this may be her last year belly dancing. Check out SaharaNightsBellyDance.com. That's her with some buddies. She explained the IFBB challenge that she's undergoing right now, how she's a killer golf ambassador. Kevin Hart, Shane Gillis both came up. So did football, hockey, golf, Deadmau5. And how is her golf game?
My game's okay. Like, I can keep up with my husband. He shoots in like the mid 70s to 80s, which is really good.
Wow. And you can keep up with him.
I keep up, but doesn't mean I'm shooting it. Like, I'm a bogey golfer for sure. Like, I am bogey for sure.
Like, if you break 100, you're like, fuck
yeah, exactly. I've broke it one time. So, and I'm going to try more this summer to actually.
Yeah. And what is it about golf, like about your game, that bails your ass out? Is it the drive? Is it putting?
I think it's just, I'm good at short game. I'm really good at short game. Like, I like my wedges, and I love my putting, and I work for a putting company now. Like, I've heavily invested in them. So it's pretty cool. Like, it's weird how life, your 5-year plan or whatever goes like this, and then it's like, nope, you're doing this instead now. But I'm actually not mad about it. Like, if anything,
No, you shouldn't be mad at. No, that's why you set goals, right? Like, sure, the goalposts sometimes move, but
it's
insane that you wouldn't set goals. You know what I mean? To push yourself to be better.
Yeah, and like pivot with it, right? And just not be just like one thing only. But yeah.
That's big. She goes, I'm really good at short game. Golf with anyone. It's the short game. It's why it's so important for you to play pitch and putts as well, a course above and beyond the full-size courses. Straight up, if you're building a career in the public eye, it takes confidence, adaptability, willingness to learn, to fail, to try. Heidi's worn a lot of hats over the years, from world bikini champion, event host, content creator. And we got into a lot of other stuff too, like generational differences. We talked about racing cars and gambling, meeting Arnold Schwarzenegger, family life, riding to Sturgis, getting remarried in Las Vegas again.
Yeah. Yeah. My husband has a ginormous tattoo of me. I don't know, his whole leg is me, which is ridiculous, but it's like married in Vegas tattoo, and then he's got my face on him tattoo.
Your husband's a stalker.
He's a stalker. And he's got we both got 777 on us for Vegas, and he's good. It's like you and your wife. You guys have been together for 100 years too, right?
Yeah, we got married in 2006, 4 years together for that. So we're coming up on 24.
That's super cool. That doesn't happen nowadays, right?
That's a long time, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, she's so good. Like, she's such a good fit for me, you know? Like, she super laid back and chill, and like really good with, like, as much as I loved her before kids, like, she's so good with kids, you know?
Oh, that's cool. So you grew together. That's the big thing. We grew together, right?
Yeah. Like, she saw me as a jackass afternoon show host at CFox the whole time, and understood, like, sometimes I got to go party and host and
she was fine. Which is so
totally fine. Like, they'd pour me into my loft and drunk out of my mind, you know, and she'd just be like,
okay, well, you know, she loves you anyway. That's a good woman.
Yeah, she's a great woman. Yeah, for sure. And so you're in Vegas. What if you're gambling? What do you gamble on? Like, what do you spend?
You know, it's funny. You know, we don't actually gamble down there. We go to we're big, go and rent cars and race on the track, or
so go get a dune buggy and rip it up.
Actually we went out and we did we rented. That was so fun. We rented an R8, and because Trav, my husband, he's 6'8", right? So he can't fit in all the sports cars. So he had, I forget which one he had, that he could just barely fit in. But we raced it on the track. Like, that's
no way.
Yeah, that's so fun. Like, to us, that's like going to doing something there, or going to a concert, or did we see Deadmau5 there? I think we did. Yeah, look, Vegas is fun, you know?
Yeah, Vegas is fun. I heard that it's getting way more expensive though. Is that true?
I think it is. it wasn't too bad. We went, but like, yeah, but I'm pretty sure with Canadians, there's like, they're trying to get them to come back more so they make things on par.
Well, I think
But
they're trying to, just not Vegas, just in general. Like,
yes.
Canadians are not going to the States right now.
Yeah, I know. So it's like they need to bring, but I also heard, which was really interesting, that because the new generation doesn't drink.
Yeah, right.
They're like, it's like not at all what we used to do. Right. And so they're dying for like, no one's going there to like party and do that stuff anymore. Right.
The Toddcast podcast is powered by Milano Coffee, bringing you the finest espresso and coffee concepts in the world. Online at milanocoffee.ca.
I can't expect you to understand me, but I've been screaming at the void, tired of this tyranny. And I can't respect you if we never talk about it. If I don't know how you're feeling, then I don't know how to solve it. Tell me I'm foolish, tell me I'm wrong. I'd rather be ripped to pieces than hear nothing at all. Say that I'm stupid, say that I'm blind. Tell it to my face, tell it to me straight. Throw yourself a little fit like you're a child. Just say what you mean, even if it hurts, even if it means we kick this to the curb. Don't sugarcoat it, just let it burn. I can't live in this house of glass anymore. You said you were ready, I gave you space and time. You've been silent for months, so where do we draw the line? You hold all the power, I place it in your hands. I let go, let you in control. Should've known that you were gonna keep me in the dark again. Do you think I'm too fragile, like I can't take the heat? This quiet is killing me, I'd rather break and bleed. Step off your high horse, take off your crown. Get in the ring, honey, going round after round till we can't get up off the ground. Just say what you mean, even if it hurts, even if it means we kick this to the curb. Don't sugarcoat it, just let it burn. I can't live in this house of glass anymore. It's too late, it's too much for me to just say what you mean, even if it hurts, even if it means we kick this to the curb. Don't sugarcoat it, just let it burn. I can't live in this house of glass anymore. It's too late, it's too much for me to
And now, stop me if you've heard this before on the Toddcast podcast.
You'll probably best know Kayla Zander as Amelia Salazar in Netflix's The Recruit, but that's not where it starts. Kayla used to work at Black Dog Video on Commercial Drive in Vancouver, one of the last video stores in the city. The smaller details, she watched the format shift from physical rentals to streaming from inside the machine. And once Kayla gets going, let's talk range. You've seen her in Rescued by Ruby, Needle in a Haystack, Fire Country, Goosebumps, Supergirl, The 100, iZombie, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. We talked about what it's actually like working in Vancouver's film and TV world, how the city shows up on screen, how productions move through it. We got into New York City, reggae and jazz, being politically minded, superpowers, seeing Frank Ocean live, a near-death horse story, her anthropology degree from UBC and Indiana Jones movies. And stop me if you've heard this before, Kayla shared her career highlight, and it may not be what you would expect.
I have a lot of nostalgic feelings for a music video that I made with some friends in like 2017.
Okay.
It's called Light of the Moon by another Vancouver local, Tarek. I think he's brilliant.
Okay.
And my friend Casey Lum was the director. And we shot this music video, and it was just like a passion project. Like nobody was getting paid. The crew was out in the pouring rain, just like soaked. Everybody was fucking soaked.
Mm-hmm.
But I loved it because I just remember like none of us were getting paid. Everybody wanted to be there. We were all starting off our careers. And since then, I've seen a lot of those people, like watched them have these incredible successes and get bigger and bigger opportunities. But when we see each other at parties, like even, you know, I remember everybody on the crew, and I look at them sometimes and I think just very fondly of this one music video. It was like fall, and they wanted me to lie on the road in the rain with like only one shoe. That was my idea, actually. And it was freezing cold, but yeah, I just remember being at an early stage in my career where people just really wanted to make art and they wanted to see what they were capable of, and we all pushed ourselves, and it had nothing to do with money or clout or any of that. And
yeah, well, that's why you hold it so dear, is because of that.
Yeah.
Stop Me If You've Heard This Before on the Toddcast podcast is powered by the HomeDwell Group. Buying a house? Selling your home? Contact Kyle at homedwell.ca today.
You talk like reasons, something you want. Slow and short while I come undone. You twist my words till they sound like yours. Call it peace when I hold my tongue. You make control sound just like concern. But if you love me like you swear you do, why's every truth get upside and turn till I can't tell me apart from you? You change the story just to win and say you never meant offense. If this is love, then make it make sense. Kindness hits like consequence, wrapped in calm but built to burn. I call you out, you get defensive, then act like I threw fire first. You make control sound just like concern. But if you love me like you swear you do, why's every truth get upside and turn till I can't tell me apart from you? You change the story just to win and say you never meant offense. If this is love, then make it make sense. I'm tired of shrinking down to fit within your walls of shame. You can call it reason, call it whatever, 'cause you make control sound just like concern. And you still swear you love me too. change your story just to win, and say you never meant offense. If this is love, then make it make sense.
You know, without putting too much pressure on her, I expect this night to be absolutely magical. So Jack Matthew, and that's a new song for her. It's called Make It Make Sense. She was JRFM, Vancouver's big country radio station, their artist of the month last month. So we're super stoked to have her play a podcast, Blue Light Sessions. As mentioned a little while back, she's opening up the night. Canyon Riders are headlining. It's in 10 days on June 26. Grab tickets now through eventbrite.ca, event, B-R-I-T-E, eventbrite.ca, and we'll see you there. Can't wait for this night. You heard Tess Anderson. That was a new song for her as well. It's called Even If It Hurts. So on July 3rd, I think it's the next, is it back-to-back Fridays we're doing? I think it is. So July 3rd, she's opening up the night at Blue Light Studio. Grab tickets now for only $22 in advance, the early birds, the first 20 tickets sold. Then it goes to $25 for regular admission, $30 at the door. And we're going to play something from the headliner, Claire Twitty, in just a little bit. First, our final guest of episode 392, this week's entertainment guest, Colin Browen, filmmaker, content creator, paranormal investigator, best known as the creator of the Paranormal Files. He's also the co-host of the true crime podcast Murder in America, two very big shows online. He launched the Paranormal Files in 2015. Of course, that's huge. One of the most viewed paranormal investigation channels online. It's very binge-worthy. Started getting into it. Haunted locations, unexplained phenomena, alleged supernatural encounters. It's kind of hard to stop watching, to be honest. Again, he also co-hosts the Murder in America podcast, looking at the infamous homicides across the United States in detail. Colin's a great storyteller. He blends documentary with horror, investigative journalism, attracts a global audience. And in our conversation, he talked about gravitating towards filmmaking at a very young age, especially horror, and developing short films.
I've always wanted to be a filmmaker. When I was young, I spent all my free time making horror movies and zombie movies, and all my friends, we built blood cannons, and I was directing like all sorts of different twisted short films, which is kind of alarming when you go back and look at some of the films as an adult. I'm like, if my kid made this, I would probably be a little bit concerned.
Some warning bells are going off here. Like,
yeah, exactly. But yeah, so I ended up going to film school in Austin at the University of Texas. So that's how I ended up here in Texas from South Dakota.
Okay. So you do have formal training then. You're
I ended up dropping out midway through my academic
But you got
career.
the feel. The gist.
Yeah, I got the feel. I did a few years of classes, and it was actually crazy because my channel was taking off, and I was really conflicted because I was flunking classes because I didn't have time to actually devote to those classes. It was like really complex subjects, and I'm every weekend filming, and I even had a TV show at one point that we filmed, and it was a whole thing.
Yeah.
And I went to my academic counselor and said, "Hey man, I have this really big opportunity with my YouTube. What should I do? But I'm failing my classes. I don't know what to do." And he told me, "You should just drop out and do it, because people don't really get this chance very often." So I walked out.
Their buddy for saying that to you.
Yeah, wow. I know. And I did, and literally a month after that, I had my first video hit 1 million views on YouTube. So I felt like that was the universe kind of showing me that I chose the right path.
That's so good. He goes, when I was young, I spent all my free time making horror movies and zombie movies. Have you ever heard a story that made the hair on the back of your neck stand up? The paranormal has fascinated people for centuries. The full talk with Colin is online right now. It's just over an hour long, by the way. All channels through @Toddcast podcast. Great to get him talking about his love of horror movies, investigative misconceptions, success. We talked about binging Breaking Bad. Epstein Island came up. So did Typo Negative, being a Phillies and Eagles fan. And what is it about Murder in America, the podcast? Why did it connect with so many people?
I've wondered that, many times. Courtney and I, when we first started dating, we both talked about our interests in these stories, and Courtney was listening to podcasts all the time, and she was a psychology major in college at UT, and I had all this spare podcast equipment lying around from an old paranormal show that I tried to launch, which would have been really cool, but we were bringing all the gear into a haunted location and then doing the podcast inside the location. So it was like a crazy amount of setup. And I basically told her one day, let's just do a podcast. Why not? And the one thing we both agreed on was that we wanted to tell the full stories, because there are a lot of shows out there, and a lot of them cut out some of the harder parts to digest, and they kind of almost sanitize some of these stories. And I feel like that's almost a disservice in a lot of ways to what happened, and to what happened to these people, especially when some of the most profound episodes we've done on the show have been covering stories of mass shootings in America, which a lot of podcasts won't touch. And we've had so many survivors and family members of victims reach out and say that they were so happy with the way we treated the story and everything. And giving that detail and going so far in depth and not being afraid to confront the darkness, I think, is what has made our show different, because you can't listen to one of our episodes on a mass shooting and not believe that there's something seriously wrong in America that no one is addressing. It's a part of the thing, and that's why we do, partly the shows to memorialize victims. We donate every week. It's great to raise money, and we've worked with a lot of great charities. And then on top of that, we advocate for change in just different ways. We've launched petitions in the past and even worked with family members of missing persons and victims. So it's super fulfilling, and it's just different. Plus, Courtney and I sit and tell the story as opposed to sitting and talking and laughing about it, which is a totally different genre of show. Ours takes a lot longer to produce and write, but that's just our speed.
Yeah, it's so true. He says not being afraid to confront the darkness, I think, is really what made our show different. I think that's what it is. His podcast is a mix of real cases, human psychology, and there's that unsettling reminder that these stories are not far removed from your everyday life. It's very creepy. As we always do. We go further than what our guests are known for, talking about the death clock, the fact that he's had sleep paralysis. He opened up about his sobriety, shared a near-death story. We talked about the skeptics, family, his first concert. You're going to love this story.
Tom Petty.
Tom Petty was first.
Dude,
what specifically stands out from that show? Like, what do you still remember about that night?
Well, I was my parents, since it was our first concert and they loved Tom Petty, they got front row tickets to see him. So my sister, I think I was like, I can't remember, like 10 or so, and my sister's 4 years younger than me. So we were just like little kids in the front row. And we made these signs that said, Tom, we're your littlest, biggest fans, or something like that. And we held them in the front row, and Tom actually stopped the show at the very end and took our sign and signed it on stage and gave it back to us. And, came and gave us guitar picks. I still have my guitar picks somewhere in this room from that show. It's like a treasured piece of my childhood. And then halfway through the show, actually, right before Tom Petty came on, we were out, and my dad was getting a drink or something, and I was sitting with my mom and sister in the hallway of the venue, and some dude walked up to us and was like, "You guys enjoying the show?" And we told him, like, "Yeah, we're excited to see Tom Petty and whatever." And he just reached into his pocket. He was like, "Here you go, guys. Don't tell anyone I gave you this." And he gave us a huge handful of guitar picks. And I will always remember that, because I was like, damn, who the hell was that guy? I'm thinking, well, I was 10, so I was probably like, who the heck is that dude? But when they came out on stage, it was Tom's lead guitar player who he winked at us in the front row, like, there you go. Nice. There you go. It was, so that's like one of my best childhood memories, man. It's Tom Petty, dude.
Love it.
Subscribe on iTunes, YouTube, and Spotify at Toddcast Podcast.
It's the end of you. It's the end of me. It's the end of love. Though did I up in your life. You disguised as freedom, got caught up in your eyes. Your ammunition kept me on a leash so long that it felt like home. And now time stands still. There's no time left to kill. How am I living when love is dead? How am I living when love is dead? Timing kills me now. Still under your spell. I'm locked inside a cell. I wish I could escape from this hell. There's no time left to kill. How am I living when love is dead? 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 No time to kill.
You know, when Claire Twitty played a podcast show, maybe about a year and a half back now, it was so good that when she reached out and was like, hey, I've got new music. Do you want to do a show together again? Immediately, I'm like slamming the yes button down. So something new for Claire Twitty. It's called Love is Dead. And if you come to our show on July 3rd, again at Blue Light Studio, beautiful East Vancouver, you'll see her headlining the night, and apparently she's playing her entire new album front to back. I saw an Instagram post a couple of weeks back that said just that. So tickets are $22 in advance for the early birds, the first 20 tickets sold, and then it goes to $25, which could be now, I think. $25 for regular admission, $30 if you snooze and wait for the door. Got a few bangers set up for summer. Hope you can make at least one of them. Of course, before we wrap things up, wanted to give a big thanks to this week's guests. They Might Be Giants singer John Flansburgh, world bikini champion Heidi Cannon, and the Paranormal Files and Murder in America host Colin Browen. Thank you for taking the time to jump on the Toddcast here in Vancouver, Canada. You have amazing stories, and I'm super stoked that you would take the time to share them with us. And that's going to do it for this one, episode 392. Called this one Done. My name is Todd Hancock. Thank you again for listening, for being there. If you like what you heard, please do tell your friends. It's a big way of how we grow. We are part of the Realm.fm network, Realm.fm. Tons of fiction and nonfiction podcasts there. You can subscribe to us on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Megaphone, YouTube. Comment, of course, and rate the podcast. It helps out with search results. Of course, it's Toddcast podcast when you're looking. Huge thanks to all of our excellent sponsors. They are the reason that we breathe. You can find links to all sponsor websites at toddhancock.ca. And if you'd like to sponsor the podcast, you can for as little as $10 a day. Contact info is at the homepage. And if you help us find a sponsor, by the way, this still applies, we will give you a commission. So keep that in mind, all right? Till next time, don't be an asshole, because nobody wants to be around that. Have fun. Play hard. Most of all, believe in yourself.
You've been listening to the Toddcast podcast, powered by Citywide Mortgage Services, dedicated to helping you find the best mortgage rates. Available 7 days a week at citywidemortgage.ca.